Minglaba, welcome to Myanmar Today. I'm Agajo. We've got the latest news and reports. Vice President U Myint Swe attends the 32nd regular meeting of Private Sector Development Committee, and a story coverage on Chinese government's effort to ease the economic strain amidst the virus outbreak. And another report is on the European Union presenting the 2020 Schuman Award in order to recognize the work of people to promote the genuine democracy, rule of law, peace, and human rights. We get to the reports in a while, but before that, let's take a look at the local news. Union Minister for Social Welfare, Relief and Resettlement, Dr. Win Myint visited the Youth Training School and Child Care Center in Myanmar Sunday. He visited the Myanmar Youth Training School, where they were explained about the school by its principal and inspected the haircutting, welding, computer, and agriculture trainings, practicing Myanmar's traditional martial arts for physical fitness, construction of a multi-purpose stadium, and bedrooms of the trainees. The union minister coordinated with officials the requirements reported by the youths and provided cash assistance to fulfill the current needs of the youth trainees. He also met with the officials from the U Myint State Party and discussed the cooperation between the government and the public in the processes of rehabilitating youths who are addicted to drugs. Foreign direct investment of over $1.026 billion has flowed from 6 enterprises into the power sector in the past 4 months of the current fiscal year, according to statistics provided by the Directorate of Investment and Company Administration. The total investment in power is higher than any other sector. During the October-January period, FDI of $2.089 billion, including expansion of capital, has flowed into the country. The Myanmar Investment Commission (MIC) and the investment committees of states and regions have allowed 106 enterprises to invest in the country. In the current fiscal year, the manufacturing sector has absorbed FDI of $253.25 million. The livestock and fisheries sector has drawn foreign investment of $15.53 million, and over $145.4 million has been pumped into the transport and communication sector, while the hotels and tourism sector has pulled in investment of $27.954 million. The deadly African swine fever ASF has been reported in Naumon village in Lasho Township of Northern Shan State in February 2020. In August last year, ASF infection was reported in Mongla area of Eastern Shan State, promoting neighboring countries China and Thailand to ban pig and pork products from Myanmar. The ASF outbreak is of particular concern for small-scale farmers who account for a significant proportion of pig meat production, as they may lack the expertise and funds necessary to protect their herds from the disease in a timely manner. To curb the spread of the virus, the health authorities must enforce rules to ensure small-scale farmers put measures in place to adequately protect their herds from infection. That's all with the local news, and here's the first report on Myanmar Today. Private Sector Development Committee held its 32nd regular meeting on 22nd February at UMFCCI Meeting Hall. Vice President U Myint Swe, Union Ministers for Commerce and Planning, Finance and Industry, Yangon Region Chief Minister, Deputy Ministers, government officials, UMFCCI members, business persons, and business organizations attended the meeting to present the current situation, difficulties, and needs of private sector.
Vice President of the Republic of the Union of Myanmar, U Myint Swe, who is also the chairman of Private Sector Development Committee, attended the 32nd regular meeting with Myanmar entrepreneurs held at the meeting hall of the Union of Myanmar Federation of Chambers of Commerce and Industry UMFCCI on 22nd February. Present on the occasion were Dr. Thamni, Union Minister for Commerce, U Win, Union Minister for Planning, Finance and Industry, U Myint, Chief Minister of Yangon Region Government, Deputy Ministers for Education, Commerce and Planning, Finance and Industry, U So, Yangon Mayor, U Minwin, Chairman of the UMFCCI, members of the UMFCCI, governmental officials, business persons, and business organizations. First, Vice President U Myint Swe delivered an opening speech urging the entrepreneurs in a bid to raise the ease of doing business ranking for the improvement of the private sector.
For a development of a country, the role of commerce is important. In the fiscal year of 2018-2019, the country's trade volume reached $35.147 billion. For the fiscal year of 2019-2020 until January, the trade volume reached $13.101 billion. Out of this value, the private sector's contribution to total volume was $11.295 billion, accounting for 86% of the total value. In the border cities and commercial cities, we are to take action against illegal trading activities in a systematic and effective manner. With the greater cooperation of the government, entrepreneurs, and citizens, we can support the chain of commerce by eliminating illegal trading, which can affect the small and medium enterprises.
For the investment sector till January of 2020, there are 1,941 foreign investments, which is worth about $83.964 billion and 1,676 domestic investments, which is valued about $10.563 billion. Then Taudat Demye, Union Minister for Commerce, highlighted the current difficulty the commerce sector is facing because of the outbreak of novel COVID-19 in the neighboring country, China.
In the fiscal year of 2018-2019 till 14 February, the trade volume was valued at $14.535 billion. If we compare with the same period of the 2019-2020 fiscal year, we can witness an increase of $2.147 billion in the trade volume, including import and export. However, at the present, we are also affected by the outbreak of COVID-19. If we compare the trade volume during 23rd January to 18 of the previous and this fiscal year, we can calculate the decline of $209 million in the trading with China. Especially, seasonal fruits and fisheries products cannot be exported to China. So, with the cooperation of Yangon Region government, we are to sell seasonal fruits such as watermelons in the local market. The outbreak of virus is affecting the employments, the income of the producers, and the revenues of the government.
At the meeting, the Union Minister for Planning, Finance and Industry presented the loan systems the ministry is implementing. Moreover, Chief Minister U Myint expressed the point of making Yangon a market where the international and local expos can be held by making systematic plan. The UMFCCI members and the business organizations also presented the difficulties and needs of doing private business. The Private Sector Development Committee was formed on 24 October in 2016. Till now, 369 proposed points were presented and 363 were responded by the relevant departments. This is Dora Susan reporting from MI Radio.
All right, we'll carry on with a live interview with the China Media Group's senior journalist on WHO visit to China, live in Beijing, and the preventative measures. So first off, we have noted that recently WHO expert team visited China on its mission to help China with the virus outbreak control. What are the updates with the World Health Organization's visit to China, as it is noted that WHO team is there to study the virus and seek the solution?
Good morning, this is Schuman Award from Beijing. Well, the WHO delegation has arrived in Beijing this week. They are going to visit 3 places, including Beijing, Guangzhou, and Sichuan province. They are going to talk to the local officials, local governments about their efforts to contain the spread of the virus, such as quarantine, how effective it is. And also they are going to talk to the Chinese scientists about how much they know about the virus, how it transmits from one person to another, what is the best way to prevent the contagion, and also like what is the best way to treat those infected under different conditions. At the same time, there's a report from the Chinese side by the Chinese Center of Disease Control and Prevention. The report studied more than 4,000 cases of coronavirus, and the conclusion is that 80% of those infected are with mild symptoms. Even those with at a senior age and with pre-existing conditions are easily probably severely affected by the infection. And also the conclusion is that the number of infections has been falling since early this month. Of course, that number is in line with the actual situation in China, in particular in the rest of the nation beyond Hubei province, the epicenter. And yesterday, Monday, it recorded 79 new cases in the rest of the nation. So it also marks this 14th consecutive day of decrease of new cases. So the situation seems to be stabilizing. But of course, the WHO has warned that we should interpret the report with some caution because there are also infections in different populations beyond China. So I think it is still very cautious that the whole picture, of course, not only in China but also around the world, is not 100% clear yet. So we still need some more time.
Yeah, thanks for the update. And moving on to the second question, which I would like to further probe, is how is life for people in Beijing now, and how do they go about with their daily routine during the outbreak?
Well, as life in Beijing, I think it's returning normal, let's say. You see shopping malls are open, and the stores around the corner is also in business, and the courier service has been fully available. As long as you order, basically everything in China is very developed, as we know, e-commerce. You can order everything, daily necessities online, and then that will be delivered at the gate of your community nowadays, because it's not allowed to, as in the past, to put your order basically outside your room, outside your home. It's very convenient. It used to be very convenient.
So thank you for the update on the life in Beijing. And so we'll move on to the third question, Mr. Shui. And what are the preventative measures in the government policy to contain the spread of the virus so far?
It's different. The lifestyle is a bit different because everybody is using some precautions. For example, putting on a mask, washing their hands more frequently, avoiding gathering of people, things like that. And also the public transport has always been in operation, so it's normal. You see more and more people are taking the bus, in the underground, and other kinds of public transport. And so it's a bit slow, but it's returning to the normal. And people still need to, if you're coming back from outside Beijing, for example, you are advised to stay inside or isolate yourself for a few days to make sure that you are safe, you are not infected, and also make sure that those people who will be around you, like in office or in factory, they are also safe. So that are some precautions. There are some measures are still, in active implementation. But of course, everybody understands that's necessary. You need to make sure that we keep the chances of contracting the disease minimal, as much as less as possible, we would say.
Thank you so much, Mr. Shu, for giving us time. And this is the live interview with the senior journalist of the China Media Group, which is currently living in Beijing, for more updates on coronavirus. So we'll move on to another report. All right, we'll move on to another report for today. That is, Chinese government is in a bid to ease the economic strain brought about by the coronavirus outbreak. President Xi recently stressed the effort to reduce the impact of the coronavirus outbreak and to sustain the businesses. For more on the measures China is taking to battle against the epidemic outbreak, let's take a look. Chinese government is in a bid to ease the economic strain brought about by the coronavirus outbreak. The impact on the economy is beyond China, as the country is the second largest economy in the world. New Year holiday was extended and the factories were shut down. The international trading and businesses depending on Chinese market are expecting to face huge consequences. With the virus outbreak stabilizing at the increasing recovery rate, businesses in cities away from the center of the epidemic outbreak resume their operation. Mu, who is working at China Media Group of CRI Myanmar Department, said,
အခုလ10ရက်နေ့ကနေစပြီးတော့တရုတ်နိုင်ငံနေရာအနှံ့အပြားမှာပေါ့နော်ဟူဘေပြည်နယ်ကနေလွဲပြီးတော့နေရာအနှံ့အပြားမှာစီးပွားရေးလုပ်ငန်းတွေပြန်လည်စတင်လာတာကိုတွေ့ရပါတယ်ရှင်ဘယ်လိုလုပ်ငန်းတွေမှာစီးပွားရေးလုပ်ငန်းတွေပြန်ပြီးတော့စတင်နေပြီလဲဆိုတော့ဒီစေဝါသုံးပစ္စည်းထုတ်လုပ်တဲ့လုပ်ငန်းတွေနောက်တစ်ခုကကျတော့စွမ်းအင်ထုတ်လုပ်တဲ့လုပ်ငန်းတွေပေါ့နော်စွမ်းအင်ထုတ်လုပ်တဲ့လုပ်ငန်းတွေမှာဆိုရင်လျှက်စစ်ဓာတ်ထုတ်လုပ်တဲ့လုပ်ငန်းတွေတဘာဝဓာတ်ငွေထုတ်လုပ်တဲ့လုပ်ငန်းတွေနောက်သယ်ယူပို့ဆောင်ရေးလုပ်ငန်းတွေဒါပြန်လည်စတင်နေတာကိုတွေ့ရတယ်။နောက်တစ်ခုအရေးကြီးတဲ့စားတောက်ကုန်ပစ္စည်းထုတ်လုပ်တဲ့လုပ်ငန်းတွေအခုပြန်ပြီးတော့စတင်နေပါပြီ။နောက်တစ်ခါကျတော့အဓိကအရေးကြီးတဲ့ကုန်စည်ပို့ဆောင်ရေးလုပ်ငန်းတွေအခုပြန်လည်စတင်နေတာကိုတွေ့ရပါပြီရှင်။
According to the record of Myanmar Ministry of Commerce, the border trade volume of Myanmar between October 2019 to February 2020 reached $3,981.204 million US. But some of the border gates are still closing and the export products have been delayed. Since the virus infection goes wild and worldwide, Myanmar suspended the flights between Yangon and mainland China to help control the spread of the virus.
နေနေအများတော့ထိခိုက်မှုရှိတယ်လို့ကျမတို့ဖြေချင်ပါတယ်ဘာဖြစ်လို့လဲဆိုတော့ဒီကူးစက်ရောဂါကြီးကြောင့်ပေါ့နော်တချို့နေရာဒေသတွေမှာဆိုရင်ဒါလုပ်ငန်းတွေခဏရနာထားရတာရှိတယ်ဥပမာရှန်ဟိုင်းလိုနေရာမှာဆိုရင်ပေါ့နော်ကားခံနေကြီးတွေဒါခဏဒီထုတ်လုပ်မှုတွေရနာထားရတယ်ပေါ့နော်အဲ့ဒါတွေကျမတို့သိရတယ်နောက်ကျမတို့အခုကြားရတာပေါ့နော်ကျမတို့အနည်းဆုံးကျမတို့မြန်မာနိုင်ငံမှာဆိုရင်လေဒါအထည်ချုပ်လုပ်ငန်းတွေမှာဆိုရင်တရုတ်နိုင်ငံကကုန်ကျန်းပစ္စည်းတွေမပို့နိုင်တဲ့အတွက်ကြောင့်အထည်ချုပ်လုပ်ငန်းတွေရနာတော့မယ်ဆိုတဲ့အတန်တွေနောက်ဒီဝန်ထမ်းတွေရှော့ချတော့မယ်ဆိုတဲ့အတန်တွေလည်းကျမတို့ကြားပါတယ်နံပါတ်1တစ်ချက်ကကြတော့ဒီကုသယောဂအကြောင်းပေါ့နော်ဒီခေတ်ရက်ခတ်မှုအခြေအနေကိုအတက်နိုင်ဆုံးရှော့ချဖို့ရေနောက်တစ်ချက်ကကြတော့စီးပွားရေးလုပ်ငန်းတွေရေရှည်ဖွံ့ဖြိုးတိုးတက်ဖို့ပေါ့နော်ရည်ရွယ်ချက်ထားပြီးတော့လှုံ့ဆော်ဖို့သမ္မတရှီကျင်းဖင်ကအဓိကမှာကြားသွားတာကိုတွေ့ရပါ
According to the National Health Commission, more than 30,000 medics from 29 provinces and military organizations have been dispatched to the region. A total of 1,716 Chinese medical workers have been diagnosed with the novel coronavirus by February 11th. Among them, 6 had succumbed to the disease. Mu continued to explain preventative measures offices and government take to contain the virus.
ကုသယောဂဖြစ်ပေါ်တဲ့အချိန်တွင်ပေါ့နော်နေထိုင်မှုဘာတွေပြောင်းလဲသွားလဲဆိုရင်တော့စသတို့ကိုဒီဌာနကနေမိတယ်ဒီရက်ပိုင်းတွင်ပေါ့နော်ဘဲတွေခီးထွက်ဖူးလဲလို့မိတယ်နောက်ဒီရက်ပိုင်းတွင်ဟူပီပီနေကိုသွားဘူးလားမိတယ်စသဖြင့်ပေါ့နော်အဲ့လိုမိကုန်းတွေမိတယ်နောက်ဒီရက်ပိုင်းအတွင်းပေါ့နော်ခီးမထွက်ဖို့အဲ့ဒါတွေပြောတယ်နောက်တစ်ခုကကြတော့ဒီဖျားရနာတွေရှိလားကိုပူတာတွေရှိသလားအဲ့လိုမျိုးပေါ့နော်ဒီချိန်မှာကျမရေးကိုဟို queue site နေထိုင်ဖို့နောက်တက်နိုင်ရင်အပြင်မထွက်ဖို့စသဖြင့်ပေါ့နော်ဒီကျမရေးသတိပေးလမ်းညွှန်ချက်တွေကိုသူတို့ပြောတယ်အရင်ကားထပ်ပို့ပြီးတော့ပေါ့နော်ဌာနကိုတွေကိုဟိုနိုင်ငံသားတယောက်လိုမျိုးမဟုတ်ဘဲနဲ့သူတို့ရဲ့ဒီမိသားစုဝင်တွေလိုမျိုးပဲပေါ့နော်နွေးနွေးထွေးထွေးဆက်ဆံတဲ့ take care လုပ်တဲ့ queue site
This is Agajo reporting for Myanmar International Radio. That's the report on Chinese government's effort to ease the economic strain amidst the virus outbreak. The European Union presented the 2020 Schuman Award in order to recognize the work of people to promote the genuine democracy, rule of law, peace, and human rights. This year, 3 awardees were honored for the commitment of achieving the social change in Myanmar. To find out who the awardees are, reporter Tora Swesin has more details.
The European Union in Myanmar organized the 4th Schuman Award giving ceremony on 19 February at the residence of the EU ambassador to Myanmar. The award is aimed to honor those who dedicate their lives to and speak out for promoting democracy, rule of law, peace, and human rights, and also thereby creating a network of professionals and activists of same beliefs and goals within Myanmar.
We're here tonight to celebrate that Myanmar has some very courageous and good people. 1 week ago at Union Day, the State Councillor Aung San Suu Kyi said that the people of Myanmar should not be afraid and should be prepared for change. And the European Union fully agrees with the State Councillor on this, that Myanmar should be prepared for change. The people of Myanmar know very well, change does not come automatically. It takes people and it takes courage. So tonight we are, on behalf of the European Union, giving awards to 3 people that we believe have shown that courage, who have shown the courage to call for change.
In his speech, the ambassador mentioned that the advocates of genuine federal democracy, equality, human rights, and ethnic groups asking for change, equality, and dignity are the ones who are building the Union. And the European Union supports a sovereign and democratic Myanmar holding the whole peace. The awardees of 2020 Schuman Awards are U Myint, human rights lawyer, Lue Nge, women's rights activist, and Biko Generation satirical poetry troupe.
First of all, we have called for nominations. So we have opened up to civil society in Myanmar, to organizations to nominate who people of Myanmar believe are worthy winners. So the ideas for names came from the people of Myanmar. The winners are selected by the ambassadors of the European Union, so myself and a committee of all the EU member states ambassadors represented here in Myanmar. And the criteria, we have chosen people who have shown commitment to the universal values of democracy, human rights, but who have also, with their personal choices and their work in their life, shown the courage and the commitment not just to talk, but also to work hard for these values. I think this year is a very diverse list, men and women, young people, youth leaders, activists, and also people that have been political prisoners and through the work of their entire life shown that their dedication to this is not just something that lasts a week or a month, but something that they have dedicated their lives to. So I would say there is great variety in the winners. They have one thing in common, and that is their courage.
Lawyer U Myint received the 2020 Schuman Award for his advocacy for the rule of law, the right for free access to information, and good governance by being an active voice in media, a prolific author, and a mentor to many human rights lawyers in Myanmar.
I am 75 years old, but I'll have been working until Myanmar has achieved the true democracy. I will also stand by the next generation who speaks up for genuine democracy. This award is kind of supporting Myanmar's transition period.
At the end, woman from Northern Shan State, Lue Nge, is working as General Secretary of the Women's League of Myanmar to educate the young girls about their rights, as well as to empower women and survivors of sexual violence and human trafficking. She was honored with the 2020 Schuman Award for her contributions towards women's and ethnic people's rights.
I believe that this is the acknowledgement, not just for me, but also for the other people who are fighting for the rights of women and ethnic people. Human rights is concerned with all human beings, so we have to work to eliminate any form of human rights violations, and I will keep working until I reach up to my goal and expectation.
The first Schuman Award was launched in Myanmar in 2017, and the first awardees were NLD lawyer U Koni, the writer of Shalom Foundation, Do Janan Latho, and the executive director of Equality Myanmar U U Myint. The Schuman awardees for the past 2 years were Go Swe Win, chief director of Myanmar Now, Cherry Song Hao, human rights activist, Do Kin Than Tui, women's rights activist, Do Nambu, gender and peace activist, U Zomo, peace advocate, and U Robert San, human rights defender. This is Laura Suzanne reporting from MI Radio.
That's a report on the European Union in Myanmar honoring 3 rights activists with 2020 Schuman Awards. That's all for the reports we have for today. Now let's keep up with the world with the international news here on Myanmar Today. With the coronavirus outbreak infection stabilizing, businesses are back to normality. Hundreds of passenger cars are now flowing to the Middle East market again. The national security and measures ensure employees are safely back to work with a healthy return. Chongqing reignites the hotpot feast with zero-touch takeaway to assure the hotpot lovers can enjoy it despite the virus outbreak. 3 days to start, the total amount of 72 hotpot takeaways in Chongqing has exceeded 10,000 orders, with total sales close to 3 million. A 75-year-old elderly woman with speech defect have gotten better after close treatment by medical team at Hoshanshin Hospital. Nurses and medical experts had difficulty communicating with the patient at first. However, with the help from a sign language teacher online, communication worked out and the patient has gotten better. Recently, a company in Guangzhou has invested tens of millions in rebuilding equipment and successfully developed a fully automated ultra-high-speed mask production line, which has now been put into use. It is a 1,000 tablets per minute fully automated ultra-high-speed mask production line. The company's preliminary estimate is that by the end of February, 2 more fully automated ultra-high-speed mask production lines can be produced, which can basically meet Guangzhou's mask production needs. That's all we have for today. Thanks for joining me on Myanmar Today. I'm Agajo. Have a great day. Thank you. Bye-bye.